assistance of Stan Merrill to help me along. I couldn't do it without his help. Now, this is not does not talk about heroism or anything else. It's about something, World War II, which was 70 years ago. Lots of it I've completely forgotten, but some main points I haven't, and they're included in this talk tonight. And it's just a account of an average soldier. Nothing much ever happened to me, but I'll tell you what it was. Anyway, I graduated from the Phillips Exeter Academy in June of 1942 at 18 years old and went immediately to Princeton for the summer term. I finished freshman year at the end of February 1943, and in the meantime, I had enlisted in the Army and was instructed to report to Camp Upton, Long Island on March 2nd. My sister Jean and her husband Sherman Farnham were living in New York at the time. He was the skipper of a subchaser based at the Brooklyn Navy Yard and happened to be in port. So at their invitation, I took the train down to New York the night before I was to report. They gave me too many drinks and a rousing send-off, which left me in terrible shape when I wended my way out to Long Island the next morning. It was a dreary, cold, rainy day, and dense smoke from all the coal stoves hung over the camp like a blanket. I was issued my GI clothing, and feeling depressed and hungover, was told to report to a tent down a muddy lane. When I opened the tent flap, there in the gloom, to my pleasant surprise, was a good friend of mine from Exeter, Wade Hampton. We had a couple of days wondering what was to come, then parted ways, he to a distinguished Army career in the Army and later as a lawyer. I might add here that my wife Rooney, who was in Briarcliff College near New York, was part of an entertainment troupe who sang to troops at Camp Shanks on Long Island. Obviously a more upscale camp with wooden barracks than Camp Upton was. She reminded me often how happy the boys were to see her and all the other beautiful girls. From Camp Upton, I was posted to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, for basic training. There I ran into another friend, Bill Litchfield from Princeton. Bill was a very gregarious fellow who loved a good argument and questioned orders. Neither an appropriate response to tough drill sergeants. But his major problem was he suffered very sore feet after a long march. Several times I helped him down to the first aid station for treatment. Our paths separated after Fort Bragg. After the war, when I caught up with him again, I found he had